Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name, we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New era, TT Radio.
energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Well, good morning, you, wherever you may be. Friends, good morning to you. It is a Friday, and we happy to be in your company. Welcome to New Era TT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean, as we take you above and beyond. Trinidad and Tobago, good morning. Neighbors in the Caribbean, good morning. Friends and family all around the globe, good morning to you, as we welcome you to our little space and our piece of paradise. As always, I want to say much thanks to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. And everything that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing on to you. Sir Charles, that is me. Happy am I to be here with all my friends and them. I say welcome you to the Get Up and Go. This is the Breakfast Show.
Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Friday morning. That's what it is. Just in case you've been working so hard this week, you lost sight of the fact that the weekend has actually begun. It is Friday morning. And good morning to all our listeners and viewers wherever you are across the planet, in Trinidad and Tobago, up the Caribbean, wherever you are in North America, Europe, Asia, down under, wherever you are, a big good morning to you and welcome to the Breakfast Show. And of course, I also want to say a special good morning to my co-hosts Wendell and Sir Charles. Friday, the weekend has begun, people.
Morning, Richard. Morning, Sir Charles. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It's an absolutely beautiful Friday morning. I slept through the night, so it can't be more beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Internet worked well. I don't know what you're doing.
You slept well because you were tired, or you slept well because of drugs?
I slept well because of drugs. I'm ashamed to say that. I drugged myself and I went to bed just after 8 o'clock, I think. My last message would have been somewhere just around there. And I took my sleep gummies and I went off to bed. I got up at 5 a.m. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud. But it's good to be in the land of the living. Condolences to the Crosby family on the passing of Victor Crosby, who is a son of Earl Cecil Crosby. He's a brother of Earl Crosby, and he would be a brother of Nikki's dad also too. So condolences to the Crosby family on the passing of Victor Crosby, a well-known St. James family, last evening. All right. I only found out this morning too. He is the father of someone whom I know well. I know Sheldon. Sheldon grew up on Carlton Avenue in St. James. Sheldon now lives abroad, but I didn't know Sheldon's dad was a Crosby. You know, so condolences also to Sheldon and his mom. Right? Yep.
All right.
What else happening? What else is happening? Do I have birthdays? Yes. Well, yesterday was a good day for West Indies in cricket in terms of we surpassed Australia's 180 only by 10 runs. But at the same time, we put in a good performance again in the field the second time around. And Australia, they are now batting like about 80 for 4, somewhere around there. We dropping too many catches. Oh gosh, too many easy catches, you know. But I think I'm hopeful that we are going to win this test match. So people, if you're a supporter of West Indies cricket, send positive vibes their way, please. I think this team has been playing very well under a new captain, brand new captain, Ruston Chase. He's not a stranger to the team, but he's first time he's captain in West Indies. And I think they just look like they're gelling on the field and they have a good camaraderie. So please give them your positive support. All right.
When does the MAC series in cricket restart?
Mark.
Yeah. The MSC series. The MSC series.
In cricket?
Yes.
What is that?
Middle-age cricket.
You're a real clown, yes. Normally it's May month, but last year it was a little later at the Queen's Park Oval, you mean?
Yes, the
I'm
MAC series. I call it the MAC series.
I'm waiting to get my email that says cricket is about to start. So Azad Ali, if you're listening, and Kishore, please send out the releases for cricket. We in the MAC group, we look forward to that cricket every year. Last year I was fit, so last year. Yeah, so I want to start my training sessions early so that I can be injury free in that cricket too.
Okay.
But let me get birthdays out of the way.
Oh, you didn't do the birthdays yet? Okay. I'm now about to hit good news.
Hold on. Good news is part of it. Good news is always part of the thing. But where the birthdays gone? I ain't seeing them. So many chat on cricket yesterday. Oh, the cricket chat was vibrant yesterday. All right. Yes, today is Ahmed Shia birthday. I met this young man in Egypt when I went last time. He's celebrating his birthday today. And Cindy Commoner, they're celebrating birthday. No, Cindy Commoner was 2 days ago. It's only Ahmed has a birthday today. All right, so it's only Ahmed. All right, Ahmed Shika is celebrating his birthday today. So if you're out in Egypt, in Cairo, listening, wish Ahmed a happy birthday for us, please. All right, go ahead, Richard.
Strange way, one of the greatest compliments somebody can give you is when they take you for granted. Because we take for granted the things that we love the most. When you are young and you have the right kind of parents, you don't thank them. You don't hope that they will be there, they just are. Being taken for granted means that you are reliable, trusted and true. One of the philosophically interesting examples of this is with sickness. A large part of sickness involves appreciating that which you took for granted. When you have a sore throat, you can't believe you didn't enjoy swallowing more. When you have a cold, you wish you'd enjoyed tasting. The awareness of this broken body is what turns it into an object. According to Heidegger, in our usual functioning days, the body is an invisible tool. It is the window through which you see everything else. But when we are sick and when the window is broken, we become acutely aware of it. The body is pulled into sight for the first time in a very long time. Because there is a sense of vulnerability when you are sick. Yesterday you were strutting through life with the immortal blasé of the healthy. But today you're forced to slow down, to repair, and to accept that you, as all things, are limited. In sickness we are humbled, but we are also transformed. We emerge from our sweat-stained sickbed only by resilience. And one day, when the illness passes through, we shall throw our body back into loving disregard. We shall take it for granted again. And that's just as it should be.
All right.
Who's that guy, Richard? Who's that guy?
It's a page I follow about mini philosophy. So they do he does little tidbits of philosophy and of course usually references well-known philosophers across the planet, historically and current, about different things about human behavior and stuff. So I find it interesting.
Yeah, so, he has a voice that kind of grabs you, that kind of engages you. You know,
I always find it's a little good thing to get people a little thinking for our good news. So that was our good news segment for this morning.
Good.
Yeah, we have another video, of course, which I could show, which could start off the conversation, which is it's not good news or bad news. It's just news.
That's news.
Hi, I'm Mike Mitchell, the visa chief here at the U.S. Embassy, Port of Spain. Effective immediately, if you are applying for an F, M, or J non-immigrant visa, you are requested to adjust the privacy settings to public on your personal social media accounts. This is to facilitate the vetting necessary to establish your identity and admissibility to the United States. The adjudication of visa applications is critically important to the national security and public safety of the United States.
Right. So he said F, M, and J, Wendell. Remember we were so that isn't the regular
B1 or B2 visas.
Yeah. So so I
it's
think it's obviously more along the lines of student visas or something.
Yes. For anyone, well, I mean, I haven't Googled it, and I guess we didn't because we just only had our pre-show meeting. We decided we want to show this and poll it. But if anyone is out there listening, could confirm what is an F, M, or J, because he didn't go on to explain what they are. F, M, or J visas, you could let us know. But we will, of course, I suspect it has to do with even the announcement prior about students entering the United States and visas afforded to students.
Yeah.
So I suspect it's a follow-up to that.
Yeah, obviously that's a global thing, and that will be a global position concerning the new administration and how they're clamping down on different issues.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yes. So we are going to poll it this morning. Today's Friday. Of course, today is your day. If you all have seen the promo, you'll understand that it's your day. The day that you get to call in, the day that you get to discuss issues, and you get to be almost like a co-host for some people. Today is your day. So
if it's their day, shouldn't they decide the poll?
Well, okay, fine. Look at that. Easy so. Well, actually, one person already suggested it, and no, they didn't suggest it. Whoever DL Donglo is, Donglo, did you see the release from? All right, that person also asked if we saw that video. So, but we did see it yesterday, Donglo, and we just showed it for you. All right. And it's not for everybody. It's for people applying for F, M, or J visas. All right, that's what it's for. You have to make your page accessible.
I'll share some information for you guys there. Just put it up. The FMJ, right? F, student visa F1 for academic students at schools. M, vocational students visa M1 for non-academic or technical educations like culinary, aviation, or contemporary programs. J, exchange visitor visa J1 for cultural and educational exchange programs, ranging from scholars and interns to summer work and travel.
All right, so thank you very much, Sir Charles. That's the information. You just got it. So you got an idea of what are the visas, who are the people who are expected to make their Facebook and social media profiles public. I've always had mine public.
Yeah,
I think
mine is public.
I've never locked mine on anything, and I'm not interested in any of those visas anyway. But for the students, for the people who are interested in getting those study visas and those exchange program visas, you need to make your profile public.
Don't they ask you in your regular B1 visa though? Don't they ask you what your social media handles are?
I don't know. I mean, I have my visa a while now. My visa is almost.
They do, I think they do.
I have my visa 8 years now, so I can't remember what they asked me back. They didn't ask me anything actually. They haven't asked me something for a while.
No, I mean on the online form.
No, I know what you mean, but I haven't had the experience in the last 8 years, so I don't know. I can't remember what I filled out back then.
Yeah, I think. Or is it when you're? I think so, but I'm not sure.
Maybe there's a part of the form that inquires that now. I don't know. Somebody who's recently applied will have to answer that.
Yeah.
you know. But good luck to you all in terms of that, because I know America, they're hosting the World Cup, the World Cup next year. Next year? Yes.
Well, Mexico, the US, and Canada.
Right. So I'm sure there'll be a flood of applications to the United States for visas to get there.
Yeah.
I'm sure, you know.
Well, I'll be visitor visas, but and of course, especially if Trinidad and Tobago gets in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we get into the finals, you know.
Yeah.
You mean when we get in?
Yeah, well, when we get in, we can have hope.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
Can have hope,
I notice you all were very silent on the West Indies cricket, but you're quick to talk about football.
West Indies still play cricket.
We don't know what is the outcome of West Indies and cricket already.
Look now, West Indies has a young fast bowler. When he made his debut, he was excellent, and he is still excellent. He's an excellent fast bowler from Guyana called Shamar Joseph. This morning, all of a sudden, I am seeing this ridiculous news trending about Shamar Joseph with all kind of accusations and allegations. And I'm saying, you know, they really know how to break a black man. Eh? They really know how to try to break a black man. Eh? I'm sorry, you know. But I don't believe one word of it. You understand? And even if it is remotely true, you do that now when he bowling like how we bowling against Australia, and it's coming out of Australia, the news coming out of Australia, it ain't coming out of Guyana. You understand? Absolutely ridiculous.
It's like politics then.
I'm so upset this morning when I read that, and I will not share it. Don't ask me to share it. You understand? It's absolutely ridiculous. I see trending on social media, but good luck to them. It's look now, it's full toss in the head as getting them today.
So it's like politics and politicians when they hold on to information. As soon as you look like you're going and getting into office, all kind of things just come up.
Yeah. And the allegations are from 2 to 3 years ago, and it's now coming up because he teared into Australia tail in Barbados. You understand? Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, let me greet our listeners, our viewers, our listeners, our fans, our people who've made this so much easier to do in the morning. My God, I wouldn't believe it. A couple of you kind of make it hard, but most of you all make it so joyful.
Oh Lord, that's Sir Charles, in case you didn't know, is the classic definition of snarkiness. Okay, Sir Charles?
I'm learning. I'm
trying to accuse me of being snarky.
The more that I see it play out, is the better I'm getting to understand it.
Sir Charles, I've learned from the absolute best.
I wouldn't know that.
Yes. Susan Jessup, God's Almighty and His Son Jesus Christ, thank you for a well productive week. Have mercy on us. Good morning, Sir Charles, Richard, Wendell. Have love always from Susan, Suzette, and Mrs. Gemma. Erica Charles says good morning from Mova. Boy Bidesi from DB also says good morning. Marlon Motley from North Valsayn.
Morning, Marlon. Morning, Wendy and James.
I know what I expect, so I didn't want to interrupt you. Wendy and James from Aranguez says good morning. Enjoy the weekend. Sherwin and Juliet Kerr from Arima says
good morning, Sherwin and Juliet.
Good morning. All right. Cheryl Seeley from I don't know where. DL, the weekend is here. Ozzy Molino. DL, sometimes when you do your post, I'm tempted to call you down low, but I'll stick with DL. Ozzy Molino, good morning. Of course, DL is asking about that same video that we just showed. Brennan Smith from Goodwood, he's completed his 3 miles walk. Slick Money Grip from Port of Spain. Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona. Joyce Phillip, top of the morning. CJ from New York, good morning, CJ.
Morning, CJ.
I see you send something for me and delete it. Don't try that.
Good morning, Julia S. Batiste.
Julia Batiste says good morning also. Carol Guevara from Chaguanas also
morning,
says
Carol and Diane.
Diane Payne. You could say a few if you want.
Go ahead.
Trinidad Margot. You know, we do it on this breakfast show. We are very democratic, you know. Cheryl Johnson from Malabar. Neil Francois says good morning. Hill Benj, Josie Richardson, Felix Kazo. Thank God it's Friday. Maloney is nice and warm. Katian Charles, who is expected to be buying Rude Boy and what's Katia does drink Heineken? Rude Boy and Heineken galore at Rumbox later.
Thank you, Kathy, for supporting theatre.
And she's coming to Rumbox later. Okay, Richard? Just so you all know, right? And anyone, you are all invited to Rumbox later. Of course, you have to buy like Katia, right? Doreen Pierre. Good morning.
It's not a giveaway.
No.
Is that a comment?
When they start giving theater tickets, Rumbox will give away alcohol and non-alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yvette Phillips says good morning from Siparia. Nice to have you, Yvette. Miguel Gonzalez says good morning. Robert Taylor from Fernandina Beach. Magic. David Ware says say a prayer. I think he meant about the cricket. David, we'll win. We'll win this match. Trust me. I don't know if you remember the last time. Just a quick reminder. The last time West Indies would have beaten Australia in the West Indies, West Indies made 240 in their first innings. Well, Australia made 240 in their first innings. West Indies made 240 in their first innings. So it was both teams had the same score in their first innings. And then Australia made 416 in their second innings. So West Indies had to make 417 to win. And guess what? West Indies won. It was the highest run chase ever by West Indies in a second innings. And we won against Australia. Just to remind you all, right?
That was how many years ago?
That is 20-something years ago.
Look, that come like BC you're talking about? Richard is BC talking about?
My head get giddy, yes.
That was before, Sir Charles, that was before he was part of the MAC League.
That's when he was drinking Colgate milk.
Richard Jemet from he and his mother Josephine.
Good morning, ma Joseph.
Morning. And Noel, Nicola McNichols, Wendy and James. Yes, the third umpiring was terrible yesterday. Well, even the on-field umpiring. Alistair Hart from San Fernando, good morning. Stellar Services. Subhash Mangal from Woodland. Subhash, you know how many men want to say they're from there? You're lucky. Jude Khan says good morning.
Did you see the video I sent you with you that sent you with the guy that was doing the hurdles and he was from Woodland?
He's from Woodland. he definitely from Woodland.
He's like from Woodland and Goodwood.
Well, we don't know if he's from Goodwood, but we know he's from Woodland.
He's from Woodland.
We know. We're not sure if he's from Goodwood. That's a both people to make. But all of them from Woodland, including that fella. Jude Khan, Ron DeSantis Jr. from Norfolk, Virginia. Odell Guy, F1, okay, is a student visa. So that's Chris Tuse saying good morning. Chevron Shogun, Rena Budu Jennings from Pity Valley says good morning all. Shelly and Raghunath, good morning.
Good morning, Rena.
And wishing all listeners a wonderful day. I'm locked on each morning from Miami with you all. Nice. Thank you very much, Shelly.
Good morning.
Valerie Mendoza, Miss Dabadi,
good morning.
From New York. Yes, the do Richard. What's that about, Marlon? David Ware's okay. Everybody commenting on the thing. Faraya Hayatali. Good morning, Miss Hayatali. She is in Antigua. I was here for the UEAI conference. It was a fantastic conference sharing perspectives on the impact of AI on Caribbean development. Morning, Miss Hayatali. She was the teacher who had organized the noise pollution.
Right. When we interviewed them.
The interview first, right?
Yeah.
Ava Smith says good morning, breakfast crew and all locked on. Robert Harper from St. Anne's. Brenda from I don't know where, but she says good morning, everyone. Have a blessed
Good morning, Brenda.
Brent Hackshaw also says good morning. Shema Paul, do have a wonderful day. A couple of you all make it hard when they'll be careful how you say things around the child. Alistair, I hope to see you by Rumbox again, you know. Curtis Patrick says visitors visa have to share social media.
That's what I think. I think when you're applying, you have to give your social media handles.
Okay, all right. I didn't know that. Michael Robinson from Yokohama, Japan. Melchizedek says good morning. And Michael Robinson says, man, you fellas really turn my nights into pure joy. Oh, it's night by you already, Michael. That's why. I was wondering what's going on with you there. All right, so good to have you all with us. I'm sure Sir Charles has a couple also.
Actually, I have more than a couple for you, Wendell.
Okay.
Angela said that she once met somebody from Goodwood. She was so disappointed. I don't know what she mean by that.
That's not Goodwood. She didn't find anybody from Goodwood.
Yeah, she said anyhow. Angela, good morning to you. Margaret Thomas, good morning. Margaret was up early with us. Terry Ann Peters, as always, yes. Kent, you are here also. Archbishop Ashton Clark, good day to you. He's out there in Brampton. Carlin out there in Carenage. Now, Carlin is he and his wife Kelly celebrating their anniversary. I think it's on Sunday or over the weekend here. And 33 years. So, yeah, congratulations to Carlin. And you know what
Carlin,
is nice?
Carlin,
He
you're a
says that
hero.
they're still going strong, Wendell.
They should make a bus out of you, Carlin, and put it down at the entrance of Carnage.
Yeah. Because if after 33 years they're going strong, trust me.
Yeah.
You're very good.
Mm-hmm.
God's child, good morning to you. Sick Money Grip and Judy Davis, good morning to you. And Brenda is also here also. Brenda, good morning to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
and good morning, Larry
Brenda's
Charles.
from Pina. If it's the same Brenda.
Okay, probably. Good morning, Larry Charles, also the best snow cone around the Queen's Park Savannah. And somebody's calling my cell at this hour. I'm sure it's somebody who knows I'm on radio. All right. So that's all our greetings.
We need to know who it is because you looked at it and you went, I thought the person's name came up.
All right. So let me also say an early happy birthday to Oronde Timothy. He listens to us. His birthday is tomorrow. All right. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday in advance.
Yeah, Oronde Timothy. All right. I have a whole set of messages here. Let me see.
Should I get into the dailies?
Yeah, I think you have papers today.
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
That was borderline.
You were not for doubles out.
That was borderline snarky. But anyway, yes, I do have papers today. So I'll start with the Daily Express for this morning. And this morning, of course, just in case you didn't know, today is Friday, June 27th, 2025. We are just at the end of June, 30 days in June. So the last day in June will be on Monday. The Daily Express for today, the front page, well, they have pictures of Stuart Young and Dr. Rowley and Prime Minister Kamala Persad. And the headline is Beckles' leadership under test today as Parliament debates bill to block Stuart's $1 million annual payment. Pension pressure. No, I don't really.
So how is that Beckles' leadership under question?
Well, I suppose. Well, without reading the article, I'm assuming they are talking about what the PNM's position would be on it. Without reading the article, I have no clue, but that's the headline.
Probably
pressure.
The defense.
Yeah, so
you need to see how she deals with it in terms of how she.
Well, we'd be speculating because I didn't read the article. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that probably is what it would be. I just find all these kinds of things just come across kind of vindictive to me, but that's just me. That's just me, but some people may support it. I'm like, it's already done. He is one of our. I mean, he was the one who called it the elections because he's the one who had the power to. But were you prime minister? Yes. But I get the argument on the other side. But when it becomes such a priority legislation, it comes across vindictive to me.
But we would not have been having this discussion if the PNM had won and Stuart Young had continued as Prime Minister, would we?
No.
You understand?
But that didn't happen. So
yes, right.
And so you would have had a very short tenure as Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
But I always believe that former Prime Ministers should enjoy a certain standard of security and sense of whatever your standard of living is, because you're a former Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take that away from you. You were still a former Prime Minister.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So that's how I see it. But of course, people bring in, the lens of politics into most things.
Mm.
Woman dies in gas tank explosion. And on the back page, horror in Bejucal, 2 bodies found in shallow grave. But I'll have to go inside. Anil sends legal letter to blogger Barath. Mirage Future. Yeah.
Fasant?
No, Rhoda.
Yeah. Well, if Fasant blogs, yes, maybe it's him. Mirage, future of CARICOM must be discussed. The Gans jumps at junior games. Dead even test coach Sammy frustrated by decisions.
The entire harassment for Rhoda.
So that's the front and back of the Daily Express. The Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. Jivan gets new WASA team. Acting CEO heads 11-member executive promises no more job cuts at utility.
No more job cuts.
Bill targeting Stewart's PM pension to be debated today. That's going to get legal anyway, that's how I see it. Ready to rise at some graduates. From what school is this? Santa Rosa Government Primary School. And bodies of 2 women found buried in shallow grave. And on the back page, West Indies and Aussies in tight battle. That's all you need to know for the sports. And moving on to the final one today of the 3 dailies, the Newsday today, front page, activists alarmed about missing Venezuelans after gruesome find. 2 women in shallow grave. The main picture is that of relatives mourn over the flag-draped coffin of Mahan Sitare, a member of the paramilitary Basij force who was killed in Israeli attacks during his funeral in Tehran. So that's the main picture. And on the back page, visitors lead by 82 runs versus Windies. Head Webster steady Aussies. Dortmund to launch Caribbean Youth Football Academy. That's it for our 3 dailies this morning. So now you know what the main stories are, according to the editors of the 3 newspapers.
Mm-hmm. I want to tell the people who have a problem with Rhoda Barrett. It's clear when I read some things that Rhoda is writing, and it's clear that Rhoda getting information from even within this UNC cabinet. When you read what Rhoda is saying, sometimes it's clear she's getting very good information, because 99% of the time she's absolutely correct. You understand? So all you go ahead, provoke Rhoda. Rhoda doesn't have a non-stop button sometimes, It's press on green and that's it. She going, Go ahead. All you go ahead and provoke her. I wish all your luck. Anyway, so those are all our greetings for the morning. And you would have heard the headlines. One of the things that didn't come out in the news, though, is that the police had a town meeting, a community meeting at the Renegade Spaniard, that absolutely no one showed up to a police meeting with the community. It's reported that no one showed up. And I reached out to a couple of people from the council, that is, because when you're having a town meeting, if it's in the city, you normally will inform the mayor and the council or whatever, because they are the people, the representatives of the area. They will get in touch with the people who live in the area and get those people to come out. And they didn't know anything about it. That's what was reported to me. They knew nothing about the meeting at Renegade Spaniard. Everybody know where Renegade Spaniard is, right? Not a person showed up. So the TTPS, all you need to answer to that. Maybe when we have the commissioner, we'll find out. Because there's a new commissioner, so you think that there would be a little bit of enthusiasm in terms of showing up. I'm not saying that he would have been there, but surely, you know, a community like Wrongley Bridge, which is where Renegades is. No, not Wrongley Bridge actually, but
so what you're saying that when there's a new commissioner, people get excited?
You would think so?
No, I'm asking, is that what you're saying?
I would hope so.
Okay.
I'm
you were excited when there was a new commissioner of police? You were excited?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially one that we didn't know and never heard about before.
You were excited?
There's a level of excitement.
Okay.
I mean, and in chatting...
People things excite you then?
In chatting with him, Richard, did you feel excited?
No.
You didn't feel excited?
Chatting with him? No.
Hold on. I
wasn't excited. I was just asking for an interview with somebody who's now assigned to the post.
Hold on. Let me read for the people what the commissioner sent to Richard and he sent to me. Good night, Mr. Raghubasi. Well, he sent the message to Richard first and then he forwarded it to me, right? He said, good night, Mr. Raghubasi. My apologies for the late reply as I was engaged in several matters. I recognize that the media is eager to engage with me and I'm also eager to talk with members of the Fourth Estate. However, I have not yet met with my senior officers and the TTPS executive, and thus any interview at this juncture will not capture the full essence of my vision for the organization. I urge you to keep in touch, and once I am able to apprise my officers about the way forward, I will be willing to treat with your requests. It will not be prudent for my officers to be learning about my plans from the media. Hope to see you soon and have a blessed night. Now, he would have sent that to Richard and he would have also sent it to me, right? Of course, I engaged the commissioner in a little thing banter about the best show. Surely he had to come on the best show first. But he's actually on television tonight on one of their sponsored shows, I think, Beyond the Tape. So that opens the door for him to be our guest next week. So we are going to be pursuing the commissioner this weekend like we pursued him last weekend, right, Richard?
Good luck.
Charity begins at home.
All right, that's what we're going to do, right? So Melchizedek is saying happy birthday to his or her daughter, Mukesh, on the 13th of what? 13th of what, Melchizedek? 13th of July? You serious? Can't be 13th of June and you're now saying so? All right.
That is
amazing. My cousin who lives abroad, Terry Walcott, he's celebrating his birthday today. My sister just sent me that message. All right. So happy birthday, Terry. And to all those celebrating birthdays today and over the weekend, happy birthday. All right. What next? Open the lines, Charles.
Okay. Put the number up on the screen there.
281-1315. They all know the number. 281-1315. That's our number. You can call. Today, as I said, it's your day, so you'll have calls now. You'll have calls at 7 o'clock. You'll have calls at 15:15, at 20:15, 25:15, 7:45, and 8 o'clock.
Do we have a poll yet for this morning?
You don't want to poll the US visa thing application?
In what kind of way?
Okay.
Like, do you support social media access for student visas?
Yes. Something as simple as that. Do you support the requirement that all applications for F, M, and J visas make their social media handles accessible? Social media pages accessible.
Well, public.
Alistair Hart is celebrating his birthday on Sunday. All right. Sunday will be the what? 29th, I think.
About that. All right. So we have someone online and we're taking your calls. So good morning to you, caller.
Morning, Mr. Sister. Morning, Wendell Simmons. Morning, Mr. Raghubasi. Morning,
Mr. Pat.
Morning.
About these visa requirements, I recently did a renewal and I asked some kind of question there. That is one of the questions I asked you. Those social media profile and things. That's how when your parents born and all, My mother born 1926. My father born some years before that I can remember. So I put that I can remember. But they're asking some serious questions now when you renew your visas.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Didn't you opt for the drop-in renewal, or did you have do the in-person?
Yeah. No, the drop-in. I have visas before, you see.
Right. And
So
you got through
if
that?
you have visas before, you'll drop in. And if you have any more information, they will call you in. But Brett, they are asking a real question this wrong, sir. I can remember answering questions on certain occasions. But the social thing, they want that. They're asking if you're on social page or media or whatever, and they want information or they want you to, you know, I don't know how they're getting into your system, but they're getting your system.
Well, yeah, I'm sure America has a way. But if it's open to the public, then anybody can get into it, eh?
Yeah. Is it, right now, from what I'm reading, it showed the papers I think really world is a worldwide thing now. That's social thing, social media thing. It's a worldwide thing now. It's a new requirement then. Nice?
Okay. All right.
You want to know who you're talking to, who you're not talking to, and what you're doing and what you're doing. All right.
Well, especially about what you're saying about America.
Thanks, Mr. Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to know if you're like me with terrorists.
Hmm.
Good morning to you, caller.
Hey, morning, guys.
Morning.
I'm very critical of the U.S. government. I voiced my opinion on Iran and Pakistan on my social media, and I really don't care if the U.S. immigration wants access to my social media, and if they choose to use that as a reason to deny me ever a visa in life again, I personally don't care to go back to the United States of America. You understand? This is a way that the US is showing that they are bullying people into silence, into not sharing your opinion, into accepting whatever they see their narrative, and I am not going to be part of it. I'm going to voice my opinion, and if I don't get a visa, I don't care. I know some other people may not have that luxury of doing that because they may need to go to the United States for whatever reason, health, medical reasons, school, whatnot, so they might have to paper how they share their views, and that's okay. I am one. I'm going to be very vocal on social media how I feel about Donald Trump and the narcissistic ways and different things, and I really don't care if they deny me a visa after that.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, there are some people who are going to be determined to say however they feel and continue to say however they feel. But I'm a little surprised. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised really to hear Mr. Patrick say even in his application, because Mr. Patrick was zero like the hills. And in his application, they're still asking about social media interactions.
He's probably going to study something.
Richard, your mic is off. Yeah. What is that?
I say he's probably going back to school now.
No, they asked for your social media handles.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's been a while now. I think Mr. Patrick may be now renewing his, but I think it's in existence a little while now.
Okay, I've never experienced it. As I say, I have no fear of people knowing who I am, what I say, what I do. I have absolutely no fear. You know, like how some people, even for some people on this chat, some people use AKAs, right? They use other names. And in some cases, in most cases, they are all very respectful. But there's some people who are using fake names, and then they tend to say all kind of derogatory things sometimes. That I have a problem with. If you want to say, use your own name then. You want to say something derogatory, use your own name. Because most people on this, given this chat as an example, use their real names. And for those who are not using the real names, they are in the main respectful. But there are some who determined to use the fake name and be disrespectful, and hiding under the guise of that fake name.
They're probably part of the game changers.
Part of
change makers. Know the correct name if you're trying to throw shade. Know the correct name now.
What's the name of it?
As your shaders fall flat.
The change makers, okay. Hello, good morning to you, caller. Save me.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I want to touch on this one too. You always a lot of pertinent issues in the preamble, but I want to just stick to two. One is the point that Mr. Wendell raised about the attack on Shema Jose, fast bowler, who is really tormenting the Australians. And I use the word torment because he's a good stellar bowling again yesterday. But the sad part is that the dropping never catches off of him. And I'm very disappointed in that. But you see the attacks coming against him too. I saw somebody send it to me, one of my colleagues in the Penn Post cricket team, just send it to me. And I know that it's an attack. It's an attack on him because he's really, really pressuring them. The next thing is that point someone of you all raised about the police having a tongue meeting at Renegade Spaniard. Now, anytime I pass by Renegade, it always has somebody there.
Yeah, sure, right.
And most of the residents, as Wendell rightfully said, who lives right next door in the apartment that in Sharpwood Court, they call that housing development. They always on the linemen and always, how on that particular night, they had not one at all a person went to that meeting. I think it's poor public relations and the police and they must admit it. Because I organized some meeting in my community here where I did the watch group thing and all that thing. And it was overwhelming. People just come out of this thing, and I think it's what is his name? Mr. Richard Watson, I think, is who raised the point about the new commissioner. That should at least, bring interest. Because I don't know the gentleman, and I was in the military for 30 years. This courses with several senior police officers, and I don't know him at all. I look at the president, prime minister, resident, and all those special branch men, and a very cordial and nice relationship with them. I don't know him. I would have, who living next door by the thing, would have liked to attend that meeting, to meet him and greet him, So I think the police fell down on the job in the public relations, and they need to go back to the joint force. Thank you all. Have a good weekend, guys. All
right, Mr. Billy.
My God. Good. All of you. You're streaming all about. So you all somewhere in Miami there. So you all did a good job. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.
Okay, thanks very much, Sabi. I wonder if people stay there to send a message to the police that we don't, we really don't want to have nothing to do with all you. We don't have no confidence in you.
No, I think it's just basically public relations.
No, because as Mr. Billy said, I mean, any time of the day you pass there, lunchtime, it was some people in the place.
There is no way that everybody is going to stay away. It have plenty bacchanalists in that area who would want to confront the police about issues.
And as Mr. Billy rightfully pointed out, anytime you pass by Renegade Spaniard, there are people hanging out there.
Yeah.
You understand? So I didn't understand that story.
It's like, look, they come in, let me disappear.
Well, going back to that issue with Stuart Young and what does the PNM do under Beckles Robinson, I could give it a little context, Wendell and Richard,
sure,
and listeners and viewers.
Yeah, but talk. I want to talk about.
So I could read a little bit of the article and that will contextualize it for you. Will the opposition People's National Movement support or reject the move to amend the Prime Minister's Pension Act, which would in effect ensure that former Prime Minister Stuart Young does not receive an annual $1 million pension for life? Opposition Chief Whip Marvin Gonzalez said yesterday that the party will be having a caucus before the session today to confirm its position. It is also left to be seen whether the 9 independent senators appointed by President Christine Kangaloo will allow the bill to survive or die, as a special majority vote is required for its passage in both the House of Representatives and the Senate. The newspaper spoke to political analysts yesterday, and some shared the view that today will be a defining moment for the PNM and opposition leader Penelope Beckles. the newspaper, meaning the Express, which is where I'm reading from, exclusively reported last week that Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur was set to table the Prime Minister's Pension Amendment Bill 2025 in the House on June 18th, 2025, and it was. Today's sitting is expected to be a fiery one as the House debates the legislation at the session, which begins at 1:30 p.m. Political analyst Dr. Mukesh Basdeo said whatever Beckles says and the position the PNM takes today comes ahead of the party's convention on Sunday, where internal election results are to be ratified. So all of this is setting against the backdrop of rebuilding, he said. Basdeo reminded that in January this year, a straw vote of 11-9 was cast against Beckles and in favor of Young with respect to who should replace Dr. Keith Rowley as Prime Minister. It's ready.
So in other words, just take up in
goes on. It goes on. No, I could stop.
Yes, stop.
Okay.
Stop.
All
so
right.
in other words, even if Mrs. Beckles Robinson had actually won even then and became the Prime Minister, she would also be in the same position that she would have been a Prime Minister for just a short period, not so?
Well, it depends on when she would. Well, it would depend on when she would call the election.
Right.
But it would still be a short period. Yes.
It would still have been a short period.
It would still be less than a year.
Right.
I don't like legislation that is prioritized so quickly in your term that seems like a vendetta.
Vendetta, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So the special majority requirement for a bill like that should fail, in my opinion, because, as I said, it comes across as being vindictive. That's my opinion. I hold no brief for Stuart Young. I hold no brief for the PNM or the UNC. In fact, I think the country is better off if they both go into the distance and fade. But
I'd stick up in right there, guys. Stick up in.
that's just me. But I just think it comes across that way.
Yep.
Yeah. Caller, good morning to you. While they get the poll organized there. Good morning, caller.
The poll is organized. There it is.
Good morning again, gentlemen. Two things. First, before I forget, I want to commend the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and all the agencies that collaborated in the seizure of these guns that were shipped from Trinidad, from the United States, by this teacher lady.
You have your background music on a little too loud. It's kind of coming
Say that
right.
again?
The background that you have coming back.
The background, okay.
Yeah, Alexa, the tick go down a little bit.
I want to commend the police service for that, because in hearing the details, I recognize that they did seize the items in Trinidad and Tobago, those that were found in the punching bags and stuff like that. So it means we have some guns off the streets. And I want to commend the police for that. I know everybody thinks that I'm anti-police, but when the police do a good job, I commend them.
All right, okay. Lincoln, you had news.
Yeah, let's get our poll started before the news so that we could have voting throughout the news, all right? Do you support the US requiring that your social media be accessible when applying for a student visa? That's our poll. It's going right through the 7 o'clock news. And when we come back, we are going to be opening the lines to take calls from any and everyone. All right? So Richard, when you're ready, just say. All right. He's saying, but we ain't hearing him. Alan Reese says yes. Alistair Hart says yes. Marlon Motley, yes. Ingrid Tussauds says no. Josie Richardson, yes. Terrence Roach, no. Ron DeSantis, yes. Kazim Mohammed, no. Far Rockaway, yes. Trini Gets Fit, no. Jude Khan, no. Suzanne Jessup, no. Anne-Marie Watson, yes. Those are all our votes thus far. We have the 7 o'clock news coming up, folks. So we will take Diane Payne says no, and from there we will break for the 7 o'clock news. And when we come back, we will continue to take your votes. All right?
The news you need. The clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is your news update for Friday, June 27th, 2025. I am Amanda Mitchell with New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowleth has commended San Fernando TML Primary School for maintaining a record of zero indiscipline, calling it a model for schools across Trinidad and Tobago. Speaking at the school's graduation yesterday, Dowleth praised the culture of respect and values-based education, urging other districts to adopt TML's approach. He noted that at a national level, the country is facing challenges with student behavior, and the lessons learned at TML should be shared nationwide. Principal Wahida Mohammed Narain credited the school's success to respect, structure, and Islamic values, saying discipline is woven into their culture. Valedictorians Raed Muradali and Surya Nanan reflected on their journey, with Nanan declaring, "This is our time to shape the world." Minister in the Ministry of Housing Anil Roberts has issued a legal threat against blogger Rhoda Bharath over 2 social media posts on her Newsource page related to a recent car accident involving him. Through his lawyers, Roberts sent Bharath a pre-action protocol letter on June 22nd, demanding a public apology, removal of the posts, and a commitment to avoid similar content. The posts, published around June 21st, allegedly imply misconduct, misuse of public resources, and recklessness. Roberts' attorneys argue the statements are defamatory and damaging to his reputation, noting that Bharath failed to seek his response before publishing. Bharath has acknowledged receipt of the letter and warned followers against sharing the original posts. Roberts may pursue damages if Bharath does not respond within 28 days. Late Wednesday night, police uncovered the decomposed bodies of 2 women believed to be of Spanish descent, buried in shallow graves off Line Road Extension, Warren Road, Bejucal. The discovery was made around 11:40 p.m. by the National Special Operations Unit following a tip from a confidential informant. Officers trekked about 42 feet into dense grassland, where they noticed freshly disturbed soil. Several police units responded, including Homicide, CSI, the K9 Unit, and Central Division Task Force. Senior officers ACP Richard Smith and Acting ASP Sinclair were on site, with tracker dogs deployed to assist in further searches. The bodies were removed around 3:30 a.m. Police Commissioner Alistair Gavaro has launched a 24-hour tactical and canine security presence at Piarco International Airport in response to rising crime, including the murder of a traveller in April and an armed robbery at Pitapit in June. The initiative, supported by Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander, involves armed tactical teams and the K9 unit aimed at deterring and detecting narcotics, firearms, and criminal activity. Airport workers and travellers have expressed relief and support, noting a greater sense of safety with the visible police presence. Even international visitors departing after vacationing in Trinidad said they felt safe with the enhanced security measures. A Florida high school teacher has pleaded guilty in a U.S. court to helping smuggle firearms to a Trinidad and Tobago-based criminal organization. Shannon Lee Samlal Singh, 46, purchased guns and firearm parts between 2020 and 2021, falsely claiming to be the legal buyer while actually acting under direction of gang members in Trinidad. She concealed weapons in cargo, including wireless speakers and punching bags, and arranged shipment to Trinidad. On April 21st, 2021, customs officers at Piarco International Airport seized 1 shipment, uncovering 11 pistols, 2 revolvers, 1 shotgun, 32 AR-15 magazines, 470 rounds of ammunition, and numerous firearm parts. Samlal Singh now faces up to 5 years in federal prison, with sentencing pending. You are listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In international news, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has claimed U.S. airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities accomplished nothing and failed to disrupt the country's program in his first public address since a ceasefire with Israel. Khamenei said Iran's retaliatory strike on a U.S. base in Qatar was a heavy blow and warned such attacks could happen again if Iran is targeted. His comments contrast sharply with U.S. officials, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who insisted the strikes significantly damaged Iran's enrichment capabilities and set the program back by years. President Trump has called the mission a historic success, claiming 3 nuclear sites were totally obliterated. However, Khamenei accused Trump of exaggerating and declared Iran had emerged victorious over both the US and Israel. Khamenei's appearance ended days of speculation about his whereabouts after he had reportedly been sheltering in a bunker. That concludes your news update for today. I'm Amanda Mitchell for New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. The Breakfast Show with Wendell, Richard and Sir Charles continues right after this short break.
That was news now. That was Stay informed with New Era. Stay informed with New Era Net Radio. Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
This summer, give your child skills of a lifetime with several boot camp. Children between the ages of 5 to 17, come enjoy Children Iron Chef Competition. Your child will learn to prepare healthy breakfast, lunch, dinner, CPR, first aid, and conflict management. With field trip, your child will be given free apron and certification upon completion. Call 492-7397 or 336-4935. Institute of Health and Fitness Company Limited, located at number 79 St. Vincent Street, Tunapuna.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Mornings just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
Time's all I like. Party. Hey, time to party. Hey, time to party. Hey, I just want to jump. Go tell me about work in the morning. Unless we talking hard work. Wine and jam. Wine up on a girl. I say you can't tell me about work in the morning. Unless we talking hard work. Wine and jam. Wine up on a girl. Well, I want to get this off of my chest. Talk about it. Talk about it. All of the girl them whining best. Talk about it. Talk about it. How you want me to leave this fit? Talk about it. Talk about it. Go and sit down behind a desk. Talk about it. Hey, hey. I taking a mental day. I taking a mental day. I need a little run away. Cause the line it good for me mentally. I taking a little jam. That's part of my mental plan. I don't want to go to work. I go put two girl in a rental and I'm gone. Tell them I'm gone. Don't even bother calling me. Tell them I'm gone. I said tell them I'm gone. Don't even bother calling me. Tell them, hey, hey. Go tell me about work in the morning. Unless we talking hard work. Wine and jam, wine up on a girl. I say you can't tell me about work in the morning. Unless we talking hard work. Wine and jam, wine up on a girl. Hey, when they start to blast these speakers, talk about it, talk about it. I just get a party fever. Talk about it, and I want to wine whole day. Talk about it, I know I gon' need a breather. Talk about it, hey, hey. I taking a mental day.
Wake up, rise up. It's the Net Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Time's all I like.
And of course, every now and then you need a little mental day, you need a little runaway. And if you need that this weekend, carry me with you, right? Welcome inside a brand new hour here on New Era TT Radio and the folks at M&E TV. Good morning to you, all our cable listeners and viewers. Good day to you. Thank you so much for being here on the Breakfast Show. So just before we get into the Breakfast Show, just a little programming note for you. We had a whole lot of talk about stand your ground, right? The stand your ground legislation. If you're wondering what that means for you, well, after 8 o'clock, just at around 20 past the hour of 8 o'clock this morning, we'll play you back that show yesterday with Tony Fraser, where he had a number of persons talking about the stand your ground legislation and what does it mean for you. It's not as easy as some people believe it is, right? So that's coming up at 20 past the hour of 8 o'clock. You can get that here on newera.ttradio.com. So let's jump back inside the breakfast show.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
The only question I have for you is how you find your play going so far?
I was gobsmacked, to say the least. Very glad that I came to see it and can't wait for the next stop.
Very nice, lovely, yes. I could do it again.
I think the play is fantastic, and I actually told my husband tonight that I think this is one of the most hilarious and phenomenal ones yet.
Love that.
So I was dying of laughter, and the plot is creative and fun, so I just think it's awesome.
I find it is it has a twist, and it really is a game changer, right?
Right.
It's a game changer,
like
so it's a plus.
How was the show tonight?
Oh, it was fantastic. We got fabulous actors.
Yes, we do.
It was a fabulous night. My husband laughed very loud. It was exciting.
It was excellent. I must say it was a refreshing look at real life aspect of a marriage. I find it was excellently portrayed, I must say.
It was really exciting. I laughed a lot. And the story was really, really good. The principles, that they talk about and share with us, it was really good to see they put that in.
Have you heard? The hilarious adult comedy Married and Mischievous is coming to an end. No. Where are the last shows? I'll tell you. Port of Spain. Final 2 shows at Queen's Hall on Friday, July 4th and Saturday, July 5th at 8:30 p.m. And our absolutely last show is on Sunday, July 6th in Sapa, San Fernando. Tickets available in all usual outlets in North and South. Don't miss the comedy that everybody is raving about. Check RSR Productions Theatre on social media. And remember, strictly adults only. It's a bacchanal.
Of course, we are back, and of course, the poll is still up, as you can see on the screen. So you can continue to vote on our poll. And our poll this morning is: do you support the U.S. requiring that your social media be accessible when applying for a student visa? And that comes in terms of the U.S. press release that emanated out of the U.S. Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago yesterday. And so, do you support the U.S. requiring that your social media be accessible when applying for a student visa? So that's our poll this morning. We are taking up, our poll concerning that issue. So you can continue to vote 2811315 if you're calling us. But of course, you can put your vote in the comment section, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. You can put your vote in the comment section in the stream. And of course, if it is that you are watching us on M&E TV, and I know thousands of you are, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but up the Caribbean, you can vote via, because this will be a measure across the planet. It's not just Trinidad and Tobago. If you are concerned, if you have an opinion, you can also vote via WhatsApp, 2811315. So if you're watching us on M&E TV, that's where you'd have to vote. You can send a WhatsApp to 2811315. If you're outside of Trinidad, add the 868.
All right, are you ready? Ready for the rest of votes, Richard?
Yes, I am.
All right, Julia Batiste says no. Miguel Gonzalez says no. Finbar Collins, yes. Joyce Phillip, no. Brent Hackshaw, yes. Michael Robinson, no. Brennan Smith, yes. Slick Money Grip, no. Where is it? Where are we? Margaret Thomas says no. DL says yes. Sherwin Kerr, yes. Carol Guevara, yes. And Melchizedek, no. I don't know. Sir Charles, you have any?
Yeah, man, we have some here. So Pauline says yes. Sean Ram says yes. Frank Andrew says no. Afia Lashley says no. Junior Wickham says no. Patrick Billy says yes. Sexy Red says yes. Anand says the people know what they're doing. Yes. And that is it.
Any came in last minute, Wendell?
No. After Melchizedek, no. That's it. You know, some people, Scorpion Pepper just jump in with a no. We normally cut off at 7:17, 7:8, 7:17.
All right, okay, so we could stop there. So we had 36 people voting on the poll this morning. 36 of you voting on the poll this morning. And yes, our poll this morning was, do you support the U.S. requiring that your social media be accessible when applying for a student visa? We had 36 people voting on the poll this morning, and of the 36, 18 of you said no, you do not support the U.S. requiring that your social media be accessible, and the yeas were also 18. So it was a split straight down the middle. One of the few polls that happens to where public opinion on our program is split absolutely 50-50 on this issue. So 50% of the people listening and watching us, wherever you're watching us from, said yes, they do support the U.S. Having that requirement for their national security purposes, and 50% said no. Split down the middle. That's it for our poll on a Friday. And you know when that got crumpled up, that's it. You could vote your heart content. It ain't been counted.
Yeah.
What a good way to go into the weekend.
Yeah. And if God's child had voted just a little bit before Richard,
it doesn't matter. We don't need to hear it.
It doesn't matter.
The polling is done. It really does not matter.
Is he blind? Is he blind?
Yeah. I don't know. It does not matter.
That I was just saying, and that is why people, when we say during the news, the vote, it's very important. Don't wait until after we come back then to try to get in your vote, because Richard
is deliberate. So Charles, that person also is one of the people on the chat, and I don't know if you know that, right?
You know what is puzzling to me, but this is not about the poll at all, because the poll done. So I'm on to other things now. You know what is puzzling to me?
Mm-hmm.
The UNC, as part of their platform speechifying and promises made, and both of them made promises, of course, the PNM and the UNC, to get to vote. One of the promises that the UNC made was that they would remove taxation on pension benefits for retired persons in private pensions and in the public sector.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That measure has gotten no priority, which affects thousands of people and gives them relief, but you focus on Stuart Young.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a measure that's more important? In terms of your priority of, okay, this is our legislative agenda, let's give it a priority. Isn't that more of a priority? That the pensioners across the country, whether public or private, get the relief from taxation, which you promised on your platform. In fact, the PNM also promised it too. But the PNM promised it for only public. They didn't promise it for private pensions. Yes. The UNC did both.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you not prioritizing that? Because that affects more people. Whether you get through with Stuart Young or not, affects one person.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's not your prerogative to go through whatever. You are in charge. So if your prerogative is to deny Stuart Young his pension, or somebody holding the prime ministership less than a year, their pension, fine, go after it. That's your business. But that's your priority. I always wonder why I see, look, the PNM and the UNC really is kind of the flip side of the same coin in a kind of way, and why so many voters, why 47% of the country did not vote.
Mm-hmm. In an election that was really supposed to be the mother of all elections.
Yeah, and was supposed to be close, and everybody saying, oh, plenty of people coming out to vote.
Mm-hmm.
One of the lower voter turnouts in the country's history. Why? And if you are sensitive about people, prioritize the people first. Not Stuart Young.
We'll find out.
Stuart Young could have come lower down. Stuart Young could have been September, October.
We'll find out in due course, you know.
Anyway, that's just my opinion. People are free to disagree. And it is your forum, so we need to shut up. So we need to open up the lines and take some calls.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's a big buffalo, right?
Yeah.
A big buffalo what?
You just buffalo whenever, yeah.
No,
anyway.
No, that's not about, that's my opinion.
Oh, that's it.
And I agree with it.
That's my opinion.
So, let's take them as they come. Lincoln, you're back with us.
Yes, gentlemen. Good morning again. I have a suggestion. Because I do not really support this motion to grant a pension to a prime minister after a year, right? My suggestion to the government, and first of all, let me say, Richard, I totally agree with your rant just now there. My suggestion to the government is similar to the US system, but instead of a 2-term, we should have a 1-term, at least minimum a 1-term president, prime minister, to get a pension, right? And however, should a prime minister die, the acting prime minister, if there's not an election, the substantive prime minister who takes over, should at least be in office for a year to get the pension. That may be kind of thing.
But it wouldn't be an acting prime minister. You remember, it would be a prime minister.
It would be a prime minister.
If a prime minister dies, they would have to elect.
The prime minister that take over should be in office for a year to be entitled to the pension. Because pension is not something we should be, especially that amount of money, shouldn't be something that we should just be given away willy-nilly. If I just feel to hand over in my last year tenureship, I get my pension and then I give somebody else a pension for the last year. That's what we're going to do. That's what people are going to do, right? So it should be a 1-term, 5 years, and you get your pension. But in the case of death, and that's still ticklish because if you're dead 6 months before the election, the other person still doesn't get it, even with my suggestion, right? But the blanket 1 year to get a pension, I don't support that at all. I think it should be 1 term to get a pension.
It should be at least a term of 5 years.
Yes.
Or a term, or is it? Are you saying it should be a term of 5 years, or are you saying it should be a parliamentary term? Because a parliamentary term could be cut short if you have an early elections.
Mm-hmm.
No, a parliamentary term of 5 years. If you want to cut it short and don't get a pension, then your business. But a parliamentary term of 5 years.
Okay. That's a point of view. That's a point of view. No, I understand the point of view of wanting.
Maybe that's a full question next week.
Well, we'll see how the debate goes today.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Lincoln. Any other calls to Charles? Everybody should be lining up to call this morning.
Today's your day to call.
Somebody called me the other day and said they couldn't get through at all. Boy, who is this? I said, but I thought somebody from foreign actually. Oh, Mr. L.A. L.A. said he's been trying and he's not getting through. Good morning, L.A.
Yeah. Hello, good morning to you, caller.
You know the funny thing about it, Richard, rampant raving. You know what the boys are discussing? Rowley psychologically on the population. Say, look, you don't come out of the picture because I'm not favorable. You may get short on it. They come and lost. He didn't give up. Rowley didn't give up everything, you know. Rowley gave up just the prime ministership. He kept political leader. That's why we're not discussing. You understand?
But that's not up for debate. They have no pension to get there.
To advance Stuart Young to get $87,000 a month. He and his family already rich. You understand? So this is important to get out of the way. Then we'll see about the pensioners, etc., etc. Is the PNM put these draconian policies in place? That we should be discussing. It was a fabrication on the population to give Stuart Young, and we're putting his strings behind the scene as a political leader. And we're discussing that. And that is scheme on the population that was taking place.
All right, okay, thanks very much.
I don't know if the caller realized the PNM lost the election, So it had no scheme, The PNM lost the election, and I don't know that Dr. Rowley promoted Stuart Young just to get a pension. Dr. Rowley promoted Stuart Young because he strategically thought that would help the PNM win a third term in office, and Stuart Young was the person he was training to be a prime minister. That's why he didn't promote him because of a pension. Oh, please, stop being ridiculous.
That might be the least of the
Exactly.
Hello, good morning to you, caller.
They wanted to win.
Morning.
Exactly, they wanted to win.
Now, when the PNM came into office, I think it was in 2015, every ministry had a long rap sheet about corruption that they need in the ministry and about how the UNC thief out the money and all of that. Okay. Nobody get locked up. Not a soul get locked up. Now the UNC come into office is the same thing. And nobody getting locked up. Nobody getting locked up. Because
the UNC now start, to be fair to them. Come on.
So, Mr. Ramwasing, I wanted to ask Vendor and the next gentleman there for me. I want to ask them, which one of them will start locking up people based on the political parties they support? Thank you.
But
locking up people is a policeman, is a DPP issue. But I think, let me just make this point. I think you're being unfair to the UNC. The UNC has now gotten into office, and the UNC should not be in the business of locking up people. That's not the purview or mandate of a political party. The issue of holding people accountable before the court system is a police function or a DPP function or a function of certain administrative arms that can charge people in terms of integrity and other issues. That's not a political party function.
Here where I agree with the caller, Mr. Cookery. Because you know why? All the political parties campaign on a corruption and on who do what and who do this. You understand? And you expect that when they gather the support that they would have gathered, both in 2010, in 2015, and now again in 2025, that they would make sure that something is done about it. So I agree with him. I get away with real PNM people, including Dr. Rowley, about all the talk you talk on the campaign and on the platform. Nothing happened for 10 years. And so you're saying yes, rightfully it's the DPP job and the police job. But guess what? The people supported it. The people that voted overwhelmingly for you supported the fact that this government was corrupt, they were thieving, and the people supported that. It's the same thing happened this wrongs. And I agree with him. Nobody ain't gonna get locked up. Nobody. I bet you.
All right.
People say that, you say that, man. You say that all the time, man, under the People's Partnership, the most corrupt government, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But the evidence, if the agencies in charge of it don't have the evidence to charge people, then that's the result. So because it's not the political party, it's not the political, and that's what mistake that people make. They make it feel like the PNM in charge of locking up people. They're not.
So we're saying the same thing. We say, you know why we're saying the same thing? Because you remember you campaign on a certain promise, okay, to fix something. But you ain't fix it because you're being accused of the same thing. You understand? A lot of the institutions that you were in charge of also went down the same road. So you haven't fixed it. You really think this government going and fix it too? No, it's not going to happen either.
So that comes to you have to deal with some sort of white collar legislation. Is either that or politicians in Trinidad and Tobago over the years been relative.
Sir Charles, the legislation is all there, but guess what? A lot of these people are so intermingled. that nothing is going to happen. You know, I have an attorney general for the UNC, who was an attorney general for the PNM, who made all kind of allegations against UNC people. It is a mess. The politics in Trinidad and Tobago is a downright mess.
No, but besides the politics,
if either one of them could fix it.
But besides the politicians being interwoven, we talk about the independent agencies who are supposed to be pursuing those things, like the police and the fraud squad.
Nothing.
All right, okay. Caller is online, so let's take the caller. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sir Charles. Good
morning, Zina.
Morning.
Hallelujah.
Morning, Zina.
That I get through. I don't know why the Stuart Young salary story should be such a grave issue to people. I would feel it could happen to anybody. One is you serve 10 years in a parliament or any job, and you get a promotion and you're appointed to the post. Okay, with politics it's different. You have to go back to the polls and for people to vote for a party. But why should your salary be an issue? You were appointed, sworn in, and was a prime minister. So why you want to take away in terms of pension? Why would you want to take that away from somebody? It could be in any other job. I don't understand it. It seems to me like it's a clear vendetta against that person and what transpired. And I'm saying that to go after somebody like that, and people saying, you're talking about making people, that family rich. And what about the new governor of the central bank? And why did you move that man if that central bank supposed to be an independent setup? The reason I heard earlier, what I heard on the media is that he refused to allow the auditor to go, but that's not what I read earlier on papers and heard on the news, is that they refused to go into central bank. I think that is what the former central bank governor said. The auditor general had refused to audit there, and they took private auditors. So now that new central bank governor comes there, and the same thing the former one told them, that what the information, what they're seeking is private. You can't just give it out to the public. Maybe you could pass it on to maybe the prime minister or whoever. But now, that is what it seems like he was fired for, from what he's not agreeing with the prime minister. So then this new one comes, Mr. Hawaii, and he says the same thing. I'm listening to the news. He's saying that the information is private. You can't just give it out. And he gave a reason and an explanation as to what going forward that can be done or that can be said. So I am saying that it boils down to the same thing. You fire the man for not giving information, and this new one come and say the same thing. And you bring back a man from so long from that was there, and there's so many young people that could be appointed to these posts. I really don't understand. So that, and you fire the man in Wassa. The man has to, and if they take it to court, he and Mr. Man in Central Bank, it's plenty money they'll have to pay out. Because that Wassa man was getting $100,000. And they say he was highly qualified from a CARICOM country. Now you put somebody who was of a lesser rank in the Wassa, from what I'm hearing on the news, to act the post, and he getting more money. What kind of man will be paying that kind of money for two people for a long time? Because if that man only had 6 months, work 6 months appointed, and he has a contract, let us say for 3 years. I don't know how long the contract was, so I'm just assuming. You have to pay him all that money. Same thing as the central bank governor. So I don't know why they're making that Stuart Young pension a problem because plenty money going to be paid out that should not have happened. That is my beef this morning. Those two posts, plenty money have to be paid out. And in this country, I'm looking at do so, don't like so. You know, some people, they talk about others all the time. Media, another one is social media. And when people talk about them, you know, they like courthouse. Some people like they just love courthouse. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Larry Hawaii was clear that he is not breaching anybody's confidentiality. He is not giving that information to the public. So it's just listen, every day is a next day for some choppiness in here. I just hope West Indies win this match. Yes, that's the only thing will cheer me up this weekend. I wanted to go out to dinner, see a restaurant advertising something there. I think I'll go and do that tomorrow night.
Princess Tong, are you there with us?
Yeah, morning to Charles. Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
In respect of the discussion on corruption, I want to support Richard Raguba saying 100%. You know, when politicians make these allegations, I think they're legitimate in many instances, but the machinery is so cumbersome that we don't get anywhere. And I think if the parliament is serious about dealing with white collar crime, they need to get the legal draftsmen to draft certain things. We had things like whistleblower legislation, and none of the politicians seems to be serious because clearly some of them have cocoa in the sun, you know, and it disappoints.
But then you agree with my point, caller. You agree with my point that none of them are doing one another nothing.
Well, I think we all disappointed, but the politicians, we have to force them to do the proper thing, you know, because it becomes kind of burdensome. And well, I joined the show and a fellow was trying to make the point. I don't know, he sounded like he was calling from the States, but if he was, he had to be reminded that Mr. Trump just came into office and weaponize the Justice Department. So if he using there as an example, then he woefully short because our system seemed to be better than theirs, you know. I don't know, but it's a frustrating thing. I remember when Calder Hart was being, you know, accused of so many things. I was looking forward to the UNC, you know, bringing him from Florida. When I said, well, look, I don't make the mistake. I say the UNC. But really the police supposed to do it. And nothing happened, you know. So I think we really need to examine that as a country if we need to go forward with some kind of integrity. Because it seemed like it's just a game, you know. And everybody seems to be rich.
Thanks very much.
Every change of government is about who was corrupt and who do this and who do that. And we go back and expect when we kick out, because we vote out governments, we don't vote in political parties, we vote out governments. That's our history here, right? So it's whoever get the accusations and the allegations on the platform more believable, that is who we're going with. We're kicking out our government because guess what? We believe that this happened and this one was so and that one was so, and so we get rid of them. And we bring in the next one and then we go down the same road. Everybody, listen, you remember when they accused Alan Stanford, all kind of thing? And not too long after, you see him in an orange suit with shackles on his hands and his legs. That is how people visualize the Calder Hart back then. You know? People that visualize.
Did we ever interview Alan Stanford? I can't remember, you know.
No.
Okay. No. All right. We have a caller online there, guys. Norfolk, Virginia, good morning.
Alistair, say you're not related.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Can you hear me? Because in between, I'm hearing like a hissing sound in the background. Unless, you know, those boys in the NSA tracking me.
I'm sure they are.
But go ahead. We're not hearing that, so go ahead.
Okay, but you can hear me, right? Okay. Hey, you know what? Wendell, kudos to you. Even though you're a member of the PNM, at least you say it as it is, as far as you know how things stand on the with the political scenario in Trinidad and Tobago. So kudos to you for that. And that's why I will say it now, and I will keep saying it again. that constitutional reform is urgently needed, and neither party will do it. And based on that, with the current leadership, when the current leadership of the PNM and the UNC wins, the real Trinidadian patriots don't win. And that's basically the reality to it, right? And to some extent, unfortunately, we do elect political parties because, look, there are people who still walk the streets of Port of Spain or in Trinidad or whatever, okay? And for nothing, right? They can't be extradited to the US or the Europe or wherever to stand trial or to serve time on charges that other people outside of Trinidad had time to, serve time and so on. So it shows you that in every society you have the elites where, based upon their, whether it is their economics or the financial status or their political connections, they are part of the untouchables. We have it in every country, and Trinidad and Tobago is no exception. So that's how I feel about it, and I'm entitled to my opinion like everybody else, and we're not entitled to the facts.
Thanks very much,
it's
Virginia.
Clear as ever, and Brent Thomas is a clear example. Brent Thomas, he in PNM, he in UNC, right? But because he has the resources, right, he is able to stand up against the unjust system in the society that he lives in. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Yeah. Virginia,
God bless. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Mr. Patrick, good morning. No, the lines are real active, so.
Good morning again. What the UNC government is supposed to do in the parliament and to deal with is not necessarily short-term pension. That already gone already. What they need to do is to pass legislation that won't happen again. Because if you look at what's going on, it's looking like it's a personal attack on the man. So pass a legislation that in the future going forward, that will never happen again. That's all that to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks very much, Mr. Patrick. Good morning, caller. I lost the caller. Sorry about that, guys. Go ahead. Come in.
You have much more there?
Yeah, coming back in, man.
I was reading a couple comments here, and King is responding to Dolly Mullet because Dolly Mullet is saying that it's Central Bank isn't a private bank; it's a public-owned bank. Alvin Haley wasn't CEO of Republic Bank; where info is private. And King responded, and I agree with this response. Yes, it is a public entity, but there is still an issue of privacy. Port of Spain General cannot just give out a person's medical information because it's a public institution.
And they don't.
And he's obviously right, whoever King is. You understand? You can't just give out people public information, especially of a financial nature or even of a medical nature. You can't do that. You know what I mean?
You know, even if it's to get your own personal records on Port of Spain, you can't get it just so,
No. No.
Yeah, more the things you have to do to get that in your own personal thing, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, caller.
Yeah. Richard, the politicians have the evidence they claim. They have the DPP and they have these institutions that you talk about, the police. Hand it over to them, trigger the investigation, and keep the public abreast as to who is being investigated and why. And we will be following it and see where it ends or where it will go.
Well, that's in a perfect world, isn't it?
So, Richard, I am accepting that from you. Politician not looking at politician, and that is the bottom line. And I fed up with that now. Fed up.
That's in a perfect world if it happens so bad.
Go to the head of the class. Go to the head of the class and stay right there. Teach the class, as a matter of fact. Head of the class. Teach the class. Hello, good morning.
1 minute there, Wendell. 1 minute. It's coming back in.
And
right.
if people were voting in parties, as Mr. Norfolk, Virginia said just now, that people vote, they would not have ever voted this party back in power. They vote out governments. They don't vote in party.
How you can say that when why they would but the UNC has support?
Hold on, listen to me carefully. Because Richard, when people watch the players involved and the people who would more than likely find their way back into government and positions of power, and you're seeing it now, they would never have voted for them.
That's your perspective through the lens of somebody who supports the PNM.
Well,
but there are many people
that could actually work for the PNM also.
Yeah, but there are many people who support the UNC and actively supported them.
Richard, I'm a PNM supporter, and even in the internal elections, there are people I just couldn't bring myself to vote for because I don't agree with them. They'd be failures, so I couldn't vote for them. I have no shame in saying that. I'm not gonna just vote for them just because they are PNM and because I feel the political leader wants them or they are one slate. I can't do it. I can't be a hypocrite, Richard. I'm sorry.
Okay. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning again, gentlemen. As we on that topic, one of the things that keys me, and we as Trinidadians need to get over this 9-day wonder and demand better. I remember in the THA elections, Farley made us aware that here the figure, $2 million was spent for a zip line. You remember that, Wendell?
Yes.
$2 million. They can't see cable, they can't see nothing. So Tobago is deficient of a luxury, a tourist attraction, income earning facilities such as a zip line. $2 million went missing, and they said they know everybody who is responsible for it. And 10 years later, how much years later, nobody has seen the inside of a police station, much less court.
And as a matter of fact, Lincoln, he was sued and the person won. Not so for maligning, calling the name, not so.
For calling the name, yes, but that doesn't mean allegations isn't fact. Wasn't that because it was never investigated?
But the Tobago people bought it for line and sinker.
And here's the problem with that too. After that, Tobago, nobody ever raised the question of, hey, what about this zip line? Are we still getting this? No, but everybody forgets zip line, everybody forgets everything, and that whole matter dead and $2 million. This is why I would never believe, I keep saying it, just like your mantra is local government reform is a hoax.
It's a hoax.
My mantra is Trinidad. Nobody would ever convince me that Trinidad and Tobago don't have money. When that kind of money go missing just so, and everybody just shrug it off and say, all right, let me go again, and people and political parties, they say they have no money, but political parties want to run this country so bad. I never see people want to run a country that has no money in it.
I'm telling you.
Making any sense to you?
You like hard work.
And the whole campaign there, Lincoln, just to add context to what Lincoln is saying about that Tobago issue. For the whole campaign there, they ran a narrative that Colm Imbert, Minister of Finance, disappear with how much? $3 million or 2-point-something billion. April 29 come, there were not a word again about that missing money, about that alleged missing money. Not a word again about it. Colm Imbert right now, if people are to believe that that's true, should be in shackles, stumbling through a dark corridor with a posy in his hand. Not so. This place sick. Trinidad and Tobago sick. Trinidad and Tobago politics sick.
No, I think politicians around the world need to come to Trinidad and Tobago because, if we are working with the same kind of legislation and laws that other countries have, that they're able to lock up politicians in Trinidad and Tobago could real thief. So we have nothing to lock them up because they know how to thief.
That's kind of like your blanket statement. I ain't getting into that. But anyway, I am going to get into is more PNM Bacchanal. All you know, I live for PNM Bacchanal, and there is more going on. Apparently, the ballot box from Toko Manzanilla was housed overnight at a private residence instead of being taken to Balize House last Sunday night at the end of voting in the People's National Movement internal election. This was cited by candidate and former minister Roger Boynes, who unsuccessfully contested the position of General Secretary. This is one of the alleged irregularities which Boynes described in a media release issued yesterday. In a telephone interview, Boynes said that the Election Supervisory Committee had been asked from the beginning to set down the regulations which would have included the procedure for the handing over of the ballot boxes. This is a quote. It is a fact that the ballot box for Toko Sangre Grande was left in the school, that is the polling station at Kunapo St. Francis Archie Primary School, where voting took place, and the security guard and the boxes were alone in the school. They said they had to put it in the yard because nothing could remain in the school. So I had to ask a vehicle to go and drop the security guard at a private residence to store the ballot box. A madness. And if the ministers, and if this mirrors what was happening throughout the country, well, we know what happened, and the country knows what happened, Boyne said. Boyne said it was a concern that several constituencies, such as Toko Sangre Grande, Kumuto Manzanilla, and Claxton Bay, ran out of ballot paper, causing voters to be unable to vote.
For them little bit of people in the road about people. Yeah.
Call Roger Boynes on the phone.
The ever tell you, the PNM plays a bacchanal, you know.
Charles, call Roger Boynes on the phone. Call Roger Boynes.
Richard, that come like a trap play, and you know, people come, it ain't no food, it ain't no place for them to sit down.
Call Roger Boynes. You know why? You know why?
Yeah.
At my home, well, I give you examples of how I operate. I just videotape everything. I take out my phone and film everything. If I see a cockroach in my yard or in my house, and I want to ensure that if I telling somebody that a cockroach in my house, that they could see it themselves, I just take out my phone and take a picture or videotape the cockroach to show you that men just talking stupidness. I showing you the evidence. If somebody is saying that the ballot box was left in a polling station, right? And the security had to put it out in the yard because nothing could be left. I videotaping all that. I taking out my phone and I videotaping this ballot box. And when they put it in the yard, I videotaping that too. Come on. We too advanced for all this set of bacchanal and
well, I will try and get him on the line while you take the other call, right? Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning to Charles, Wendell, Richard.
Good morning.
Long time no hear from caller.
Wendell, we were talking about just now the blind situation in Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
But I am looking at something that nobody is asking a question. The UNC come back in power. All I want somebody to do when you, Richard, as a child, ask them what is the status of the waste water treatment plant that someone was paid $900+ million, and up to now is the wastewater plant service. What has become of it? It's just there in the wilderness. Is anybody going to be held accountable for that? Could you ask them to explain that to me, please?
That's on the Beatum. That's the wastewater plant on the Beatum. That it stood there, it remained there for 10 years, and nothing was done. And that's, I mean, listen, I migrating. Because we are going, the program gonna be the middle of the day we are going, right? I hope all you know that, right? So sometimes I go be on the phone walking through some cobblestone area, having a glass of wine. I hope all you can tolerate that when I am on the show, right?
What you talking about now?
When I'm doing the show from where I'm going, it'll be the middle of the day. I'll be walking through some cobblestone area. I may be sitting in a lanai or on a balcony or somewhere having a glass of wine, and I'll be doing the show. If you're all okay with that, fine.
No problem. Wendell, I'm not getting on to the gentleman. However, let me share something with you guys concerning the pensions in other spaces now, right? This is in the UK, right? Now, ministers' pensions, former PMs, qualify for a ministerial pension under the ministerial pension scheme, which is based on salary and time served in government. Even a short time in office can entitle them to a partial pension. And they said that public duty cost allowance, PDCA, all former prime ministers since 1991 are entitled to this annual allowance of up to 115,000 pounds per year, right? And in the US, even if you serve a day, the president is entitled to 235,000 US dollars a year or something like that. Right.
The UNC is not going to get.
So the takeaways, whether they serve a day or they serve 10 days, they are entitled to what they have allocated for them. So I think that is where we have to get in Trinidad and Tobago. You know what we have.
But I get it that the different countries will have different ways of how they compute that pension, and maybe a prorated pension is kind of the fairest, and a parliamentary term being the full pension. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so if you serve half a parliamentary term, maybe it's half. I don't know, but obviously the decisions were made, and you follow. A lot of times, legislation, people who are drafting legislation look at what is taking place in other countries and kind of do an amalgam in terms of coming to some sort of consensus of what legislation for Trinidad and Tobago should look like. It's hardly ever from scratch.
Yeah.
But Wendell, from a PNM perspective, so asking you here as a PNM person.
You sure I'm still a PNM?
Yeah, you're voting the internal elections. That's good enough for me.
Go ahead.
How do you think the PNM is going to vote as a caucus on that legislation today?
They're gonna support it because they would have supported it in the parliament when they were in power. So I don't see them backing out of that so soon after. They're not the UNC, you know. UNC changes their tune regularly when they in opposition.
When you say they will support it, what you mean? They will support the legislation that the UNC is bringing?
No. They will
fight against it.
Status quo, remaining as it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I don't see them supporting the UNC with legislation like that. That will affect one of their own. No, I don't see that. I don't see that happening.
Well, I have another PNM person online. Zina, good morning to you.
Morning again. I see a blogger said, but Stuart Young pension will be a recurrent term. Maybe
no, that's stupidness. Why are you reading?
Stupidness? He was appointed. He was nothing, you know. So I don't see why that should be a problem. And I think what Mr. Patrick said, his suggestion that he put forward was a very good one. That should not be an issue. If they feel peeved, what they should do is put legislation so that it does not happen again. But you can't point fingers directly at him and say he can't get it. You understand me? So yeah. I don't know what is the big beef going on there. And as Richard rightly said, there are so many more important things to be discussed. What about the public servant 10%? Were we hearing nothing about that? I put on the shelf. And the public service, the PSA woman, she's very quiet. I tell you, if I was a public servant still, she would have had to leave there, you know. She would have had to leave from that post.
Why?
Thank you.
Yeah.
That kind of ominous statement coming from Zina.
Like a threat.
Yeah, some things you will get now and some things
one of the ceramic pigs behind you.
And some things you will get now and some things you will have to wait for.
Whether it's like that colloquialism, I would do for she.
Yeah. So ominous. It's like Gemma wanted to shook the dog on Yvette.
Anyhow, let's go for the news and come back, man, and then we wrap it up.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is your news update for Friday, June 27th, 2025. I am Amanda Mitchell with New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowleth has commended San Fernando TML Primary School for maintaining a record of zero indiscipline, calling it a model for schools across Trinidad and Tobago. Speaking at the school's graduation yesterday, Dowleth praised the culture of respect and values-based education, urging other districts to adopt TML's approach. He noted that at a national level, the country is facing challenges with student behavior, and the lessons learned at TML should be shared nationwide. Principal Wahida Mohammed Narain credited the school's success to respect, structure, and Islamic values, saying discipline is woven into their culture. Valedictorians Raed Muradali and Surya Nanan reflected on their journey, with Nanan declaring, "This is our time to shape the world." Minister in the Ministry of Housing Anil Roberts has issued a legal threat against blogger Rhoda Bharath over 2 social media posts on her Newsource page related to a recent car accident involving him. Through his lawyers, Roberts sent Bharath a pre-action protocol letter on June 22nd, demanding a public apology, removal of the posts, and a commitment to avoid similar content. The posts, published around June 21st, allegedly imply misconduct, misuse of public resources, and recklessness. Roberts' attorneys argue the statements are defamatory and damaging to his reputation, noting that Bharath failed to seek his response before publishing. Bharath has acknowledged receipt of the letter and warned followers against sharing the original posts. Roberts may pursue damages if Bharath does not respond within 28 days. Late Wednesday night, police uncovered the decomposed bodies of 2 women believed to be of Spanish descent, buried in shallow graves off Line Road Extension, Warren Road, Bejucal. The discovery was made around 11:40 p.m. by the National Special Operations Unit following a tip from a confidential informant. Officers trekked about 42 feet into dense grassland, where they noticed freshly disturbed soil. Several police units responded, including Homicide, CSI, the K9 Unit, and Central Division Task Force. Senior officers ACP Richard Smith and Acting ASP Sinclair were on site, with tracker dogs deployed to assist in further searches. The bodies were removed around 3:30 a.m. Police Commissioner Alistair Gavaro has launched a 24-hour tactical and canine security presence at Piarco International Airport in response to rising crime, including the murder of a traveller in April and an armed robbery at Pitapit in June. The initiative, supported by Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander, involves armed tactical teams and the K9 unit aimed at deterring and detecting narcotics, firearms, and criminal activity. Airport workers and travellers have expressed relief and support, noting a greater sense of safety with the visible police presence. Even international visitors departing after vacationing in Trinidad said they felt safe with the enhanced security measures. A Florida high school teacher has pleaded guilty in a U.S. court to helping smuggle firearms to a Trinidad and Tobago-based criminal organization. Shannon Lee Samlal Singh, 46, purchased guns and firearm parts between 2020 and 2021, falsely claiming to be the legal buyer while actually acting under direction of gang members in Trinidad. She concealed weapons in cargo, including wireless speakers and punching bags, and arranged shipment to Trinidad. On April 21st, 2021, customs officers at Piarco International Airport seized 1 shipment, uncovering 11 pistols, 2 revolvers, 1 shotgun, 32 AR-15 magazines, 470 rounds of ammunition, and numerous firearm parts. Samlal Singh now faces up to 5 years in federal prison, with sentencing pending. You are listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In international news, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has claimed U.S. airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities accomplished nothing and failed to disrupt the country's program in his first public address since a ceasefire with Israel. Khamenei said Iran's retaliatory strike on a U.S. base in Qatar was a heavy blow and warned such attacks could happen again if Iran is targeted. His comments contrast sharply with U.S. officials, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who insisted the strikes significantly damaged Iran's enrichment capabilities and set the program back by years. President Trump has called the mission a historic success, claiming 3 nuclear sites were totally obliterated. However, Khamenei accused Trump of exaggerating and declared Iran had emerged victorious over both the U.S. and Israel. Khamenei's appearance ended days of speculation about his whereabouts after he had reportedly been sheltering in a bunker. That concludes your news update for today. I'm Amanda Mitchell for New Era TT Radio and M&E TV. The Breakfast Show with Wendell, Richard and Sir Charles continues right after this short break.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
The only question I have for you is how you find your play going so far?
I was gobsmacked, to say the least. Very glad that I came to see it and can't wait for the next half.
Very nice, lovely, yes. I could do it again.
I think the play is fantastic, and I actually told my husband tonight that I think this is one of the most hilarious and phenomenal ones yet.
Love that.
So I was dying of laughter, and the plot is creative and fun, so I just think it's awesome.
I find it is it has a twist, and it really is a game changer, right?
Right.
It's a game changer,
like
so it's a plus.
How was the show tonight?
Oh, it was fantastic. We got fabulous actors.
Yes, we do.
It was a fabulous night. My husband laughed very loud. It was exciting.
It was excellent. I must say it was a refreshing look at real life aspect of a marriage. I find it was excellently portrayed, I must say.
It was really exciting. I laughed a lot. And the story was really, really good. The principles, that they talk about and share with us, it was really good to see they put that in humor with you.
Have you heard? The hilarious adult comedy Married and Mischievous is coming to an end. Where are the last shows? I'll tell you. Port of Spain. Final 2 shows at Queen's Hall on Friday, July 4th and Saturday, July 5th at 8:30 p.m. And our absolutely last show is on Sunday, July 6th in Sapa, San Fernando. Tickets available in all usual outlets in North and South. Don't miss the comedy that everybody is raving about. Check RSRR Productions page on social media. And remember, strictly adults only. It's a bacchanal.
Of course, tickets are out, and they're out for all the outlets in North and South. You can get your tickets early. Of course, Queen's Hall is already selling tickets, and they're open from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tickets also available for those Queen's Hall shows at Electronics in Arima, Jubilee Railway in Tunapuna, Champlain Auto Services, and Tony's Florals in Val Park Shopping Plaza, and K-Squared Fashions in Eastgate West Mall, and of course in Brentwood Mall in Chagonas. Of course, Brentwood Mall in Chagonas is also selling, and K-Squared there is also selling for the show in San Fernando, that one night that we'll be, and which is actually our final show on Sunday, July 6th. Our final show will be in Sapa, and of course, tickets are available at the K-Squared at C3 Center and at Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout. And of course, the Port of Spain shows are Friday, July 4th, which is U.S. Independence Day, actually. We'll be on at 8:30 p.m. at Queen's Hall, and on Saturday, July 5th at 8:30 p.m., we'll also be on at Queen's Hall. You should not miss it. It's the final 3 shows.
All right. Well, folks have an absolutely... Oh, we still have 5 minutes, man. We can take a couple calls still if we want. Because there's... What else is happening over the weekend? Well, again...
We have about 3 minutes.
Yeah. I'm hoping that West Indies could pull off this victory against Australia. It all depends on how this morning's session goes, of course. Australia is leading by about 70 odd runs with 4 wickets down. So once we get them, maybe we could get them for another 100 runs or so. And we have 2 days and a bit still to make it, because today is only the 3rd day of the test match, yeah?
Right.
And it's that far advanced. So once the weather holds in Barbados, which is also unpredictable, I don't see why West Indies shouldn't win this match, honestly.
All right. I want to say happy birthday to Franco Philip. Today is a birthday, so happy birthday, Franca.
Okay.
Couple things let me share with you. Well, when Mr. Boynes sent a message, he is in a conference right now and can't take any calls, right?
Okay. All right.
And for all those who were thinking about the stand your ground legislation, because I know people feel stand your ground and they just want a gun, we had a very interesting show with attorney at law Omlala, and also a guy who trains people with the police and other individuals, on the show yesterday about stand your ground. And you wouldn't believe some of the stories that a gun could put you in trouble for even doing the right things. Gave some really interesting stories. So if you think that you might really want a gun, you can listen to that. That's coming up at around 20 past the hour of 8 o'clock here. We're going to run that program for you guys.
Well, that's another piece of controversial issues that came up on the platform that a lot of people may have voted for too, may have supported it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But so he gave some really examples of people who defended their homes and all kind of thing, and end up in front of the court and end up locked up for years and all kind of thing, so
But the other night, late one night, I looked outside and I saw some young men out by my place. And I found that I didn't recognize them as people who live in the area. So I was monitoring them, and then eventually they left. I put on my lights automatically, and they left. They drove away. And then they came back about 20 minutes later, and I had no I came out my house and I confronted them. I said, "Excuse me, did you all lose something?" They said, "No, we just here with we don't live in here, but we came to somebody in here." I say, "Well," and they gave me the name. I didn't know the name. And so on. So they said, "Are we sorry for disturbing you?" I said, "But yeah, because you park up in front of me, gate 1, and you across the road, and I don't know you all." You know what I mean? And eventually they drove off. But could you imagine if that had guns involved? If you know what I mean? How stupid it could have gotten.
Yeah, but you could get yourself, as I said, as Om explained, even though you have a license for a gun, you could end up in real trouble according to how you utilize that gun. Because it's not a matter of you could just shoot somebody and that sort of thing. But Zina is there. Let's take this call quickly.
But we can't take the call now because it's just about 8:15.
Getting rid of people, they have something called protesting and calling on an organization to protest and get the lady out. So it's ominous. I didn't mean anything, but danger was so bad in that respect.
Zina, we know that we were just provoking you.
Thanks very much, Zina.
All right, this is where we wrap up the breakfast show this morning. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And of course, remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. The weekend has begun, people. Have a fantastic day. Continue on the stream, newerattradio.com or New Era TT Radio on TuneIn. Lots in store. Enjoy your weekend. Put a smile on your face, even if you are in your commute.
Yeah. Folks, have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Be careful on the nation's road. Look out for the young ones. And one life. Live it. This has been the
Breakfast Show.
Yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show energy.